So let's just remind ourselves, shall we, of what we've seen so far. Nothing to separate City and Liverpool in the early kick-off on Saturday. A dramatic late comeback win for West Ham at Burnley. Luton getting only their second win of the season against Crystal Palace. Newcastle putting an emphatic end to Chelsea's encouraging recent run. Brighton winning a 5-goal thriller at Forest. Bournemouth also hitting 3 in their win at Sheffield United. And Arsenal going top after Kai Havertz's late winner at Brentford. As far as today's concerned, well, Villa moved into the top 4 after a backs-to-the-wall performance away to Spurs, with Manchester United just now inflicting more misery on Everton with a comfortable win in the end. And there's one game still to come, of course. That's on Monday night at the Cottage between Fulham and Wolves. So as I touched upon, Arsenal's win against Brentford means that they lead the pack by a solitary point. Manchester City is second. It's then Liverpool and then Aston Villa, both 2 points off top spot. Tottenham dropping to 5th, 4 points off the summit. Manchester United up to 6th after today's win on 24 points, 4 adrift of the top 4, 6 off the leaders, the Newcastle, Brighton, West Ham and Chelsea. The bottom of the table, Burnley and Everton both on 4 points, 5 adrift of safety. With Sheffield United third bottom, 4 adrift, then it's Luton on 9 points, Bournemouth on 12. Fulham have the chance to extend their 7-point cushion on the bottom 3, followed by Forest, Palace, Wolves, who are to play, and then Brentford.
Bruno, Alejandro, before we talk about his goal, Bruno, just how big a win was this for Manchester United? Difficult place, Everton in tough times, but you came here, got that result.
No, it's always tough to play against Everton. They're a really good team, very direct, strong. They have good players on the ball, but I think our performance was really good. I think at moments we could play a little bit more in the last 20 minutes of the first half, but we did the job.
Your performance, what about his performance?
So I give him a good note just for the goal, but that's just because he knows I have big expectations for him. He's a great player, he has a great future. He's not a great player yet, but he has a great future ahead. But we expect a lot from him. He knows that. Even more me, he knows I'm going to always be behind him, asking for more. But obviously, amazing goal, not for everyone.
Did you think you'd done it when it left your foot? Could you believe it had gone in?
I can't believe, to be honest. Yes, I did, and I didn't see how I scored. Just I listened the round, and I said, "Oh my God!" But yeah, for me, one of the best goals I scored, of course, and I'm very happy.
It could well be one of the best of this season.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It's still November, but it's a good goal. Yeah.
It was such a good goal, and I think it just took everybody's breath away. You silenced the crowd.
Yeah, obviously a goal like this has to silence the crowd. I think even for the crowd, obviously Everton fans was not really happy about that, but I think they enjoy it to see these kind of things, and I think it's amazing for the football. Players like him can do this, and we are all proud of him, and obviously I'm very happy to have him on my side.
You had the opportunity to take the penalty, your second goal. You gave that ball to Marcus. Why did you do that?
Oh, because Marcus, I felt that Marcus needed a little bit of confidence, needed his goal, and as Marcus is an excellent penalty taker too, I'm 100% sure that he could score that penalty. So it's not about to take it; it's about scoring the penalty, and Marcus did it perfectly.
Has his confidence taken a little bit of a hit? A lot of people have been talking about the fact he hasn't scored a lot for Manchester United this season.
No, I think it's obviously, strikers, wingers, they want to score goals, they need to score goals. That's part of their game, and it gives you more as a boost. I think after the penalty, Marcus was unstoppable. He could take on everyone. So I think sometimes you need this chance, this opportunity to get your confidence back. But Marcus is being great for us. Obviously, last season he was amazing, so everyone expectations for this season was higher. So it's just about getting his goals back, and everyone who's still saying that he's world class again.
I know he's waiting for his award, but I just want to ask you about that togetherness, because I think that also showed the togetherness that you have at Manchester United.
I think we have these signs at the beginning of the season. Obviously, the results didn't show that, and you know that results are really important in football. And in these days, everyone is expecting you to win every game, even more at Man United. So it is what it is. But the togetherness is there. It's about getting the results back.
He's looking at me. He's waiting. Can you just give him his Player of the Match award, Bruno?
I don't think he deserves it, but take it.
Thank you.
For the goal. So you can remember the goal.
Interesting to hear him talk about the emotional side of the game, and he even went to the penalty decision. And at least as I heard it, he wasn't complaining about the outcome of the decision. He was talking about the process and how long it took, and then what the players had gone through, thinking that the decision had gone their way, and then waiting 3 minutes later and it's not, and suddenly they're 2-0 down from the penalty spot. It just gives it maybe a bit more of an insight into what they've been going through in the 9 days since they were awarded that 10-point deduction.
Well, it's frustration. You can see that in Sean Dyche's interview. He knows they played well. He knows they're unfortunate in the first half not to be going at half-time level. And then the penalty decision, it's just a sucker punch for him. I believe it's the right decision. When I was watching it in real time, I thought it's not simulation. I'm surprised John Brooks made that. But the right outcome was reached, in my opinion. I can understand what he's saying. Don't go over to the monitor. Don't take all that time. As soon as it's VAR, intervene. But I believe it was the right decision.
The right decision, but again, just taking the wind out of Everton's sails again on a day when they wanted to harness all that energy from the crowd, the energy from the protest that they were putting out there, and it didn't quite catch fire for Everton.
Yeah, obviously they're talking about getting momentum back into your performance of your team, and it kind of changed there really, where you're thinking obviously the decision's gone against you, then it's a penalty and you're 2-0 down, and there's a long way back. But overall, again, Dyche, he's not daft. He knows the game. What he's got to do now is refocus and focus on the game next weekend. You know, listen, what has happened to the last 8 or 9, 10 days with the kind of, they're all obviously upset with the decision. Yeah, that could drain your energy as well, and a lot of talking points around the training ground. What Dyche's got to do and what you will do is get back to focusing on performances. And actually, I think the performance today was pretty decent. You know, the chances they created, you just got to take 1 or 2 of them. He's got to refocus on. They've got a big game next weekend. They got to go to Forest and try and get something out there. But I think if they keep performing like they did today, again, I keep saying it, I think Everton will be all right, but they've just got to take them chances. And when they go to Forest, they know that their away record is much better than their home record this season in the Premier League. So it might just be that whatever it is that they do away from home is working for them, and they can convert those chances.
Yeah, and look, we showed at the start of the show, their stats are showing they're a mid-table team. You know, that's what they're at. So, you know, sometimes Man United, we've spoken about it, they've got 5 wins out of 6 now, so it was always going to be difficult, and the anxiety around the stadium, potentially at home, might have caused that sometimes you're over-energised, and in particular the first 3 minutes, that goal really stifled them, then it's just an uphill climb for them. But they're a mid-table team with the stats, and I think that they'll be fine. I agree with Roy, but they need the next result is important, because then it starts to get further and further and further away, though.
What I found was interesting with the protests, and we knew these were coming, these protests against the Premier League about the decision of the Independent Commission. Yeah. And we touched on this in more detail before the start of the game. That's available on the digital channels and on the Sky Sports app. Is whether or not the anger, can't tell people who to be angry with, but whether or not you feel the anger is directed at the right people, whether it's about the points deduction or whether it's about the mistakes that Everton...
What pleased you the most about that today?
A lot of this game. The start of the game, very good. Make a very good team goal, but the finish was incredible. It was world class, I think. We are early in the season, but probably already the goal of the season. Such a magnificent moment.
I was very pleased at half time, and second half they get a penalty so early that, you know, and it's... the way the modern game is, they'll say it's a penalty. For me, he's overstepped it, he can't get there, covering defender, you know, the usual stuff. But we see it all the time. It's what the game's become now.
You're the normal penalty taker. Why did you give the ball to Marcus Rashford today?
I just thought that Marcus needed the goal. I was pretty sure that Marcus was going to score, and he's one of the penalty takers too. And I thought it was the moment for him to have one and score. And I'm really happy that Marcus scored the goal.
At the start, when you came out, the noise from the fans, what generated togetherness, was incredible, wasn't it?
Well, I think like most people, it seems to me in football, everyone thinks how unjust it is, including our fans, including myself, including the football club. So I think there will be that togetherness, and I think that's going to be important going forwards. We have to perform, we have to win games, but you've got to score goals, and too many times this season at home our performances have been really good, I think, and we haven't scored as many goals as we'd like.
Talk to me about the full Premier League debut of Kobbie Mainoo and the maturity that he showed today.
You have to develop players, but we can't give them chances. You have to deserve it. So pleased with his performance. He's a good boy. He's already on his age, very mature. That is what he showed today. In and out of possession, did his job very well.
In sports. Erik, how was watching the game from the stands? It's a different way to watch football. Did you enjoy it?
So if you have a disadvantage, you have to make advantage from it. Yeah, so I assess it in this way. And as a team, as a coaching staff, we took this chance to test this. So it was very good. And I think compliments to the coaching staff, they did very well.
You said to me earlier this week that you thought the goals were coming. Well, that is your biggest win of the season. Is that what you thought would happen? Or could happen?
What could happen, yeah, definitely. I believe in my front players. They have a lot of qualities. So if they use each other, if they use the team, we're creating many chances. We are the 5th in the rank in the Premier League. So, yeah, if they have the confidence, yeah, it will come. So, yeah, today, all 3 players, all 3 scorers were front players. So I'm happy with that. And they have to take this into the next game. This confidence, this belief with your goals. You have to prove it every game.
Was Alejandro Garnacho's goal the best you've seen since you've been at Manchester United?
The best goal? Oh, we scored some more incredible, beautiful goals. But yeah, probably this year in the build-up. So team performance, but that finish, individual quality, and yeah, Ghana can do that. We know that he can score great goals, and this was one of them.
When we talk about young players, what did you make of the performance of Kobbie Mainoo for an 18-year-old to come in and do that on his first Premier League start?
We're talking about Ghana, very young. Kobbie Mainoo, very mature on this age, and we know he can do that, and it hurts us a lot when he got injured in the pre-season. But he brings a dynamic in that midfield. He's young, but already he's dynamic. He has power, he has skills, he has composure, and I think he showed it all today. So I think it was a very good performance, and hopefully he can continue this.
You had Luke Shaw back today, which is great news. Any reaction from him? And any chance to Rasmus Højlund being fit for Galatasaray?
It was a close finish today, but so we have now a couple of days. And then hopefully, yeah, we can have players back. Also because Rashford is in Galatasaray, is suspended.
Thank you. Sean, was that result a fair reflection of that performance?
I don't think so, but it's sometimes the way it goes against teams like Manchester United. You know, a lot of noise made about them not playing well, but they're top of the form guide, so they must be doing something right. And they did today, because a lot of our performance was right, but they find a world-class goal for the first one, of course. Another week it doesn't go in, we all know that. Penalty, I'm not even going to, what's the point? VAR, I don't know what's going on. It's such a simple concept, you know, but it's all over the place this season, we all know that. And then 2-0 down, it's tough, you know, but I think the mentality was right for the performance. I think the chance counts high again. You know, we wanted to take the chance we had in the first half, of course. That would have changed the feel of half-time. But a lot of the performance was right today, so it's a tough one to take without a shadow of a doubt, because I don't think it's a 3-0 game.
Yeah, without going down the VAR route, was your gut feeling that John Brooks had called it right initially?
I'm not going to get involved with it because there is no point. Everyone will argue slow-mo and they'll say there was a touch and all that. But what I do know about football is he's never going to get it in a million years. He knows what he's doing, like players do. They've got to start deciding. They've got to start differentiating between these situations. It's so easy in my mind, but we've all seen it. And I feel for fans, you know. I said it the other week after the Liverpool game. If you're a fan, what do you think they're thinking when they run over to that screen and spend 3 minutes staring at it, or however long they do? Every fan knows what's going to happen. Whoever's told them to go and look at it, basically saying, look, we've already made the decision, just go and give them a bit of fluff and flannel. But no one wants it. I don't want it. The fans don't want it. Once the decision made, just make your decision, whether it's right or wrong, but just make it. Don't stand there staring at a screen so every fan in the world can wait and just sit there scratching their head. I can't work it out. Such a simple thing.
Speaking of the fans, what did you make of the atmosphere? There was a clear sense of injustice inside this ground coming in today. Did the atmosphere help or hinder in it, perhaps?
No, it definitely helps. We want the atmosphere here. We want the crowd to be behind us. You know, everyone's been at this football club's taking a real knock. Everyone's scratching their head. I think everyone in football is actually scratching their head and about the next story that comes, because there must be after what's happened to us. The immediate one is for us to get on with things. You know, we've got to park all that and we've got to stay steadfast to what we're doing, because we've gone well this season. 14 points, well, adjusted now, but, you know, is a pretty good return considering the last couple of seasons where we've been and then where we are now. It's a big knock to take, but we've got a resilience here and we've got to keep with that, and we've got to keep our fans on board, which they will do, because they feel it's unjust like we do.
Yeah, 5 points doesn't look 5 point gap doesn't look great, but the way you played today, are you still confident that this team is more than good enough to get out of this?
Yeah, I'm forever confident, and like I say, we've got to also see what the appeal brings. You know, who knows after the last one, but at the end of the day, there's a belief in what we're doing here. I think it's been shown this season, particularly in the early part of the season, and a lot of that was shown today. But you've got to do the details better, quite obviously, because we created enough today to look after ourselves, but they were clinical and, like I say, decisions, all the rest of it.
That they were allowed by the owners to continue in this way?
Well, look, first and foremost, I feel sorry for the fans in all of this, because they're the ones that come week in, week out, and Everton Football Club has been here since the 1800s. But I think from my perspective, like I said earlier, if you're going to rebuild a squad, sack and change your manager, which means every time you bring in a player it doesn't suit the manager, that you keep chopping and changing, build a stadium in a global pandemic, at times where you're trying to sell players in the market isn't what it used to be, that will lead you to have these financial difficulties, and that's led you to this point. Do I agree with the 10 points? I think it's harsh. I think it is harsh. But when I look at the factors that gets you to that position, I think I have to look at the people that run a business and say, are you running it in the right way? And has that led you to get to this point? So, look, and I feel fans, and again, I say that because, like I said earlier, I'm a Birmingham City fan, and I've seen it through my own club. Thankfully now it's in really, really good hands. But previously, when it's not done right, the fans are the only ones that suffer. But I have to look at the business decisions that have led them to get to this point. That's just my opinion, Kelly. Can
you put yourself in Sean Dyche's position, where he will, I'm sure, have read the report and will have read the results of the independent commission? And one of the things that they say is, despite repeated warnings, there was overspending going on, that the Premier League and Everton were in dialogue to try and get this sorted, but that the behaviour continued. That's one of the things that's in the conclusions of the report. So would you feel a sense of frustration, do you think?
Again, but Dyche's coming to manage the football club. You know, you have obviously an owner of a club, you've board members, you're hoping they're doing things properly. And again, we keep repeating ourselves, Everton have made a lot of mistakes. So I think there was a lot of anger here at the ground today. I think there was anger towards us here even, you know, it just seems to be angry with everybody. But Dyche's got a... And I think he will do. I think he'll just push that to the side. No, and maybe get the game over today, which he has done, and thought, listen, we've had all the build-up over the last week or so. No focus on winning football matches or getting results and getting performances. And I think the group of players he has, they look like a really decent group. They look like they've got a lot of experience in the group, really good pros, Young, Coleman, Tarkowski. These lads have played hundreds and hundreds of football matches. I think Dyche will get back to the training pitch and say, listen, we'll have to push that to the side. That's in the hands of the lawyers, the owners. They have to take their punishment, whatever it might be. The anger is going to be there for a while, no doubt. But from Dyche's point of view, his staff and his players, I think if they keep performing like they did today, they'll be fine. It's if they all start getting distracted by different things. They're footballing people. Let the legal people take care of all that. And I think it can be done. I think it will be done. And I think Dyche's the man to do it. And
in many ways, the anger that you've described is completely understandable from Everton fans who, as Karen said, are the ones who are suffering from this, because they might end up watching their team fighting in a relegation battle yet again this season, despite having done the football work in order to get themselves into a position of relative safety.
Well, Everton fans will always feel as though it's them who are getting punished. You know, we've seen it in recent years, fighting for survival, the friction between the owner and the board and things like that. And then this has been chucked at them now. So you see the protests that have been going on. That's a way of their anger and their frustrations. But Roy just said, Sean can only affect what he can affect, and that's the football team and picking up points. And now they have to do it. I mean, you look with Louis getting the win yesterday, the 5 points behind them. They were in a great position before the 10 points was deducted, and now they've got to dust it away and try and pick up as many points to get them out of the relegation they're in.
Well, they were unable to do that against Manchester United at Goodison Park this evening. Let's get the thoughts of James Tarkowski.
They've got Galatasaray in the heat of Istanbul, of course, and they've got it all to do in the Champions League group phase if they're to try and qualify to the knockout round. But then they've got Newcastle away. That's at St James's Park. So 3 tough away games. The first negotiated pretty well in the end.
Yeah, I thought they didn't create a ton of moments in the game, but they were efficient and they were clinical. And obviously, we've said before, goal scoring is an issue for this United team.
Yeah.
And they need to tidy it up. Defensively, they're pretty sound, and they look 10 times better when Luke Shaw playing, by the way. He was exceptional today. Onana was good. Seems like there was a partnership there with Maguire and Lindelof. Thought Dalot played great. So But goal scoring, that's the one they need to fix. And it's going to be a huge week. Galatasaray away, that is, I mean, it doesn't get much harder than that.
Doesn't get much more hostile either.
No, it's tough. And
if they sample that kind of atmosphere, albeit for 2.5 minutes, I suppose it's the perfect warm-up for something quite like that, although it's on another scale altogether.
Yeah, but look, they have players that can rise to the occasion in big moments. And obviously someone's going to have to do it. Garnacho did it today. Bruno Fernandes did it today. Let's see who can do it in Istanbul. Interestingly, because of Garnacho's goal and the nature of it, it takes the attention away from the debut from 18-year-old or the first Premier League debut for Kobbie Mainoo. I have to say, he didn't look like an 18-year-old out there.
Very mature performance. I thought he picked the right options at the right time. I talk about self-indulgence. He wasn't out there to try and prove to everyone that he's a superstar. He just does what he's good at. You know, he gets turned on the ball. He looks very comfortable. Look at him there, just reading reaction. But it's not only just the clearance. He has to lift that to get it over the striker. There he changes pace and he gets a block in. Willing to put his body on the line for the shirt. Look, gets turned, wants to play progressively forward, picks the right pass at the right time. I think he was excellent, Owen.
Yeah, I thought he was. I'll be honest. I thought he was Man United's best player. And the thing is, every clip's different. You know, this is good. You know, receiving it. A lot of young kids in there, 18, they wouldn't have the composure. Tim's right. Pick the right pass at the right time. That's one of the things you need when you're a young kid breaking through. And he's got some confidence as well. How about this little touch here? Oh, little nutmeg. Yeah. See you later. You know, the kid has. I like that every clip's different. He can do everything that you need to. Yeah. And even here, you know, you got the back four in place. Lindelhof gets dragged out. What does he know? I got to drop in there. That space is free. I got to drop in there. You know, there's a lot of more experienced players that wouldn't even do that in that moment. And that's why having responsibility in the moment, he looks like he has an awareness for an 18-year-old that you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, a telltale sign is how you perceived and treated by the rest of your teammates. I mean, when he's come off the pitch there for, 58 minutes? He had the most touches from any player of Man United on the pitch, or anyone on the pitch. So he was involved all the time, and they want to give him the ball. They trust him. See Onana rolling the ball out to him on the edge of the box. You don't do that if you don't trust the individual. He's seen him in training and he knows he's a real deal. Yeah. He needs to continue playing. But what happened is what's happened before. I hope it doesn't. Casemiro gets back fit. He throws him straight into the team. He leaves this boy on the sideline again. Cannot do that. Don't pick the superstars because they're superstars. Pick them because they are there on merit. This boy deserves the opportunity.
One of many positives then, as far as Manchester United and Erik ten Hag are concerned. After the break on Matchday Live.
You know, a great performance. How are you feeling?
Oh, great feeling. Obviously, great win today. Tough place to come, tough team to play against, but we had this great win, and obviously now we have to look forward because we have important games coming ahead. So it's about getting the focus back because this game is gone already.
As you mentioned there, it's a tough environment to come into there, but what was that feeling around the squad? You know, you were there for each other, and it shows that there was bodies on the lines for each other today.
Oh, of course, you know, it's being always like that, but obviously when you don't get the results, you don't see it as much as you want. But I think since the beginning of the season, it's being like that. Obviously, we had moments where we could have been better, but we didn't. But I think being there for each other wasn't a problem, you know. I think every time we've been there, but obviously when the results are not there, it's normal that you can find little problems and focus on some problems that sometimes are not problems.
The goals were terrific as well. You were involved obviously with those great through balls there. I mean, what was that feeling like when you seen some of those goals go in?
No, amazing. Obviously, the first one from Garnacho was amazing. You know, like great goal. It's something unbelievable from a special player. The second goal was the penalty. Really well done from Marcus, and the third one really well played from everyone, and a great finish from Anthony.
And there was a great performance from our young players as well. You know, as captain, it must be nice to see the young players coming through, and you must be delighted to obviously help them with it.
Obviously, I think every of the young players that played today, I think we have a pretty young squad still, but I think Kobbie did amazing today. Gardner, obviously, with an amazing goal. Not less important, Pellistri and Hannibal, the boost that they give to the team and the energy at the end of the game was unbelievable. And this is what we expect from them. Obviously, we have big expectations because they play for Man United. So if the club trusts them and think they can be a big player in the future, is that why they are here at the moment? And us as a senior players, or the way you want to call it, we trust in them and we believe that they can be great things for us.
And finally, we've got some big games coming up now. It's great to obviously, with this performance today, to bring that into the next few.
No, obviously a great game now. You know how important it is to go to Galatasaray away. Great team, plays great football, really strong. We know the environment will be even tough out there, so we have to be prepared for that because we need the 3 points. We know that is our end line probably, so we need to do the best we can to get to the final stage, to the final game against Bayern with a chance to go through.
OK, let's get some more reaction on the fallout of Manchester United's 3-0 win away to Everton. Delighted to say pitch side at Goodison. Fullback Diogo Dolo joins us now. Diego, great to see you. Many congratulations on the victory. Biggest away league win for United for over 2 years.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I think the performance shows the good level that we showed today. We knew coming to this ground is always tough, always physical, and I think we showed that we could do a little bit of both, being aggressive, winning duels, defending the box, defending the goal, and then play football. I think we could do both, and we showed today that we could do a good performance.
And how does it feel to deliver the assist to arguably the best goal of the season so far?
I mean, of the season and probably of many seasons. I told in the dressing room, I'm just watching now on the TV. Live, I didn't see a goal like this ever in my career so far. I mean, you could see a lot of good goals in the television when you were a kid, but this was probably one of the best that I've seen. It's unbelievable how the way they finish is, and it was a top goal and good to be a part of it.
We've been debating here in the studio how it rates alongside Wayne Rooney's overhead kick. You know which one I'm talking about against City in the derby.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That's probably one of the best goals that for me, my personal opinion, that I like the most since in the history of Man United. So it will compete with this one, and I'll leave Garnacho's one just because I was on the pitch.
There's no surprises there. I mean, does he do that kind of thing in training?
Yeah, to be honest, yesterday we were training, or they were training the forwards with Benny McCarthy, and he was complaining about Garnacho. He doesn't head the ball. Back post, you never head the ball. You just want to do bicycle kicks. And today show him that he can do it, and it was fantastic for him.
How good can he be, do you think?
I mean, if he keeps his head and feet on the ground, I think he can be decisive for this club. He has a great talent. We will be here to make sure that he doesn't go over the moon with this goal. But he's a hard-working kid, very talented, and you need this type of players in this team. So they can solve games, they can solve can give you trophies, and this is the type of players and that we need sometimes.
Yeah, the whole team played obviously really well. Luke Shaw looked great since he came back. I thought Kobe Manu was fantastic in that midfield, but it looked like you and Marcus Rashford had a nice partnership kind of on that right-hand side. It looks like Marcus gives the team good balance when he plays on the right, because obviously you guys have a good understanding, it looks like, when you play together. Yeah,
to be honest, I have to give credit to Rashi. He did a hell of a job today. I mean, it's I know sometimes for a winger you don't like to defend fullbacks, you don't like to track back, you just want to go forward, but he shows that he's a complete player, and today the goal is just a little reward of the work that he's been doing. Sometimes when forwards don't score goals, the expectation starts to get really high, the pressure starts to get really high, but he does a lot of things that probably people don't see going forward. I just give him credit today because he showed that he can do both and sacrifice sometimes for the team, and there is times that means a little bit more than just scoring goals.
Diego, they got two threats on both flanks. If you was defending one of them, which one would you like to defend, Garnacho or Rashford?
I mean, in training I get the opportunity to defend a lot. To be honest, I think Rashi is a little bit more power than Garner, but Garner is a little bit more unpredictable. So I would prefer to have them on my team.
Yeah, you got him.
And just finally from us, I mean, that's the perfect result at the start of what is a huge week for the football club, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think this sounds a little bit cliche, but every game for this club is like the game of the season. Everybody is expecting the best from us. And when you don't get the results, the pressure will get higher and higher and higher. I mean, Hargreaves played here. He knows that better than anyone that this is the type of standard that the club has. So we just have to keep believing that the results will come, and then the results will give us confidence to play better football. And I know it's coming. I like to believe that this is a marathon, not a sprint. So hopefully this consistency can improve, and the results will get there, and the football as well.
Well, good luck with the rest of the week, and well done today, Diogo.
Thank you very much, mate.
Good luck. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Diogo Dalot joining us live from Goodison Park. I mean, that's interesting, that partnership between him and Marcus Rashford. It could well have given Erik ten Hag something to think about.
No, I think credit to him, by the way. What a great talker.
Brilliant.
You know, brilliant. Really, really says all the right things. And even speaking about, he knows Marcus probably didn't want to track back, but it helped him do his job a little bit easier. He knows about the history of the club. He knows that they can play better. So, and that's what it needs. It needs everybody to be accountable for their position. Luke Shaw's in there, Harry Maguire's in there, Onana's playing better. You know, it just feels like it's starting to come together, and they're going to start playing better. They're not playing that great, but they're finding a way to get results. And I think obviously you get you get Martinez back, you get Casemiro back, you get Højlund back. You know, figure out what happens with the whole Sancho situation. There's a lot of good pieces of the puzzle for United, and I think they're going to start playing better. And I really loved his interview. I think he spoke brilliant.
Yeah, Sean Dyche will face every challenge head on. He's not going to shirk anything like that, and you can almost get that from the tone of his voice. The next 6 Premier League fixtures look like that. The Forest game, I mean, that looks huge now. That's away. Newcastle at home, Chelsea, Burnley, Tottenham and Manchester City. The Burnley one, considering they're the only team below Everton in the table right now. Now, I asked both of you if you were worried for Everton at the start of the day, before we saw Everton today, and you said not. Have you changed your view on that now, Tim?
No, over the period of the season, I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to need to pick up some points, and it has brought them back to the field, obviously. You know, they're in the danger zone at the moment. They're going to need to win at least 2 of them games. They look like tough games. Nottingham Forest, you say, and Burnley. You know, Forest, precarious. They're dropping in there as well. Bournemouth, I think, is another team who could get dragged in. Other than that, I don't think there's anyone else to drag in. They got a small division of. They got to go up against 6 teams, and they got to make sure that they get above 3 of them. That's what they got to do. That's the same objective that they had at the beginning of the season. Forget what's gone on. It's the same objective. That's what they got to do. Clear their minds. Don't feel sorry for yourselves. Go out there and win enough points to stay in the division. I still think they've got the quality. They've got the squad of players to be able to do that. This is a hiccup today. I thought their performances today wasn't bad. Certainly in the first half, I thought they created enough chances to be going ahead of Man United today.
Yeah.
It was, like he said, it was a career goal.
To put that in perspective, actually, today, Everton had 24 shots to United's 9.
Yeah.
So was it just the clinical edge that was missing for them then?
Yeah, and the one thing I would say is they have probably the best goalkeeper down in those bottom 5 teams. They've probably got, you know, the best striker. They've got the most talented midfield players in there. You know, in terms of every position, they got better players in their position, and they created it. You think about McNeil on one side, you know, Harrison on the other. Doucouré's a handful in the games there. Often these moments, they can go your way, they fall your way. But Tim mentioned before, they got bodies in the box. You know, get crosses in for Calvert-Lewin. But they're a threat. You know, when they play like this, more often than not, they're going to win games. I think possession-wise, it was almost 50-50. This one, Gate, he's got to score. He's leaning back. I think that's quite an easy one. But I think overall, I think Sean will be right.
Yeah.
They played pretty well today. It wasn't really a 3-0 game. It was a worldie from Garnacho, a penalty, and then one on the counter-attack from Anthony Martial. So I thought they played all right, but the problem is there's a little gap now created from where they are and just above them. But the one thing I think in his favour, they have a clear identity, and they've probably got the most talented group of players down in that bottom 5. And I think eventually they will be all right.
And the best fans.
Yeah, true.
Home advantage is going to be crucial for them. And they've got a manager who's been there and done it and seen it and knows what it takes to keep a team in the division, and he will keep them calm. They'll dust themselves down. They'll be ready to go in the next game.
Yeah. You talk about home advantage. They've lost 11 of 18 in 2023 at Goodison Park. How much of a concern is that, if that is to be the bedrock of any team to stay up?
The thing is, over recent years, they've needed to win points really late on in the season, last month.
Well, last day of the season.
And it's happened at Goodison because it's almost desperation. Some of the scenes, what we've seen when they've stayed up, is almost embarrassing for the size of a club like Everton, but it's the desperation and it's the relief of actually staying in the division. No one wants to leave this division. It's difficult to come back. And I think the crowd realised that, and I think they realise that early now, especially with the points deduction. And I think they will get behind them earlier than what they usually do. it's going to be a fight right to the end. They know that. It's not going to be plain sailing. I mentioned at the top of the show that it might have got a little bit comfortable for them. Not anymore. They've been dragged back to the group. They're in the danger zone at the moment. But I believe, like Owen said, they've got the quality, they've got the manager, they've got the experience to get themselves out of it. Because on paper, against them, I know games are not won on paper, but against them other teams who are down there, they've got far more quality.
Talking of fight, do they have the right kind of fighter in Sean Dyche to see them through this?
Oh, definitely.
Is he the right kind of guy?
Oh, he's the perfect guy.
Yeah.
You know, he'll kind of create that siege mentality. And I think as well, you know, you mentioned normally at home you'd expect them to be better, especially at Goodison. But actually, I think when they have to make the game, it doesn't really suit them. Even today, possession-wise, that was almost 50-50. That's not their strength. They're better off playing against, you know, having 25% possession, 30% possession, and breaking beyond the counter. So I think in those next 6 games, they won't have much of the ball like they did today. But they just need to be a little bit more efficient, effective in front of goal, and I think they'll be fine. Yeah.
It's just a question of not letting that deflate them too much today, right?
No, and I think he's experienced enough to realise that. He's been at Burnley, he's fought, you know, right down at the bottom of the division late on in the season many times, and he knows if you take defeat too hard, you take it into the next game, that's no good to anyone. You need to dust yourself down, you need to start fresh and hopefully win as many games as you possibly can. Draws don't take, when you're adrift like they are now, draws take you nowhere. It's better than a loss, of course it is. But you go out, you identify the games what you can actually win, and there is games what you look. I've been there myself. You look at the games coming up and you think, well, that could be 3 points. We might play a little tweak there, a little different, more attacking in that game and then more defensive in another one. So you have to pan your way through it. But I think, I believe they've got the quality to stay in the division.
OK, well, let's get some more reaction now, shall we, after Everton's defeat to Manchester United. Let's hear from their club captain, James Tarkowski.
James, that's a pretty frustrating afternoon for you.
Yeah, it is. I think there's positives to take. Especially first half, played really well. They've scored one of the best goals I've ever seen, especially when I've been on the pitch. And then we dominated, pressed really well, turned the team who want to play football into kicking it long and taking it off and then going attacking again. And we had 4 or 5 great chances and just didn't put it in the back of the net. And then second half, penalty, just kills the game. And I haven't seen it back. It felt soft at the time, but here we go again. Something goes against us. So we just get back into the training ground, ready to go again.
It does feel like you're against everybody at the moment.
It does feel like that, yeah, but that's how we're going to take it. So either with us or against us. So back in tomorrow, ready to go again and build for the weekend ahead.
What signs of encouragement? Because after going behind so early on, and as you say, it was an absolutely worldie of a goal. You had chances. It's just that finishing, that lacking that clinical touch.
Yeah, and we have been very clinical, especially over the last few weeks. We've scored a lot of goals, so it's one of them days. But performance levels and intensity and mentality were all there for us, so there's plenty of pleasing aspects. Obviously, we want results as the most important thing, but there is positive to take, and I say we just get back in tomorrow and ready to go.
You know, he talked about the need to fight and not to get too dispirited. And if you put into context the fact that they won 4 of the last 7 in the Premier League, they have to look on the positive side. That form is just round the corner before today. And if it wasn't already on the board, they would be in a very much more difficult position right now.
I thought he spoke well, Tarkowski. I thought he kind of analysed the game really well. You know, they had some great chances in the first half to score. Yeah. So I think there were a lot of positives to take out. Sometimes when you play a game, you think we lost 3-0, we were dreadful.
Because do you think that flattered United in the end?
Tiny bit, but the goals just came at the right time, you know, and I think they were quite efficient. I think for Everton, that's one thing they were. They weren't efficient in front of goals. So I think when they get those chances again, I think they'll take them and they'll be in a better position.
Tim, and as we approach the festive fixture schedule, which, as we know, is always kind of non-stop, is that a good thing for Everton?
It's a good thing.
Have game after game?
I'll tell you why it's a good thing, because they've hardly picked up any injuries. You know, they haven't picked up any today as well. I think that a lot of teams you see around this time, you've seen depleted squads all over the Premier League. Not with them. They've kept themselves fit. So they're going to need everything they've got. You know, everyone's going to have to play a part. And I think if you can get a win, you need to get the first one straight away, and that gives you the confidence to bounce into the next one. The games come thick and fast. You know, all of a sudden there's like 12 points to play for. You need to have taken 6 You know, if you're in that position, you can, and you know, by the end of by New Year, and you could be out of the danger zone if the results go for you. You got to watch other people's results when you're down there. You always do.
Yeah.
You don't listen to managers who say we take care of ourselves. Listen, they're looking at Luton, they're looking at Burnley.
They will be looking at the others, right?
Absolutely, you're looking at them. You live their games. That's what you do. As a manager, yes, you take care of your own. You try and pick up as many points as you can, but then you go home and you lose as much weight. I could do with doing it now. Watching the opposition, you know, the nerves, you're on edge because you want the opposition to lose, and it saves you a job. But it's going to go right to the wire. But it's really exciting. All ends.
I'm Derek Ray. I'm joined for commentary by former Arsenal fullback Lee Dixon, and without doubt a match with the potential to bring genuine excitement. It's Luton Town taking on Chelsea.
Hi Derek, thank you. Well, both managers will be reminding their players how important...
Well, it could be on for him here. Is it going to be? Keeper getting the touch. And it's gone behind for the corner. Over it comes. Well, did his job defensively. And they'll get ready for the throw-in. Pearson. So after that, a goal kick it'll be. Well, pick your adjective where Hakim Ziyech is concerned. Explosive, I think, might be an approach. Can they take the lead here? And mistimed the run, sadly. That's offside. Throw-ins given. This looks promising.
Well, it's the care and attention, all that worked.
And a blunder by the keeper. Werner. Promising attack, but his timing was off. Well, they've lost possession of the ball. Nicely cut out. Oh, that's an interesting pass. Ziyech. In it goes. An early goal. No wonder they're celebrating.
Well, as we look at this again, the keeper's every right to ask where his back line was, but 2v1 in the end. He's thinking now, is he going to pass or go round me? He's got no chance.
Well, real difficulty keeping the ball. Ball's gone.